The untold legacy of Black WWII soldiers, how they defied racism and shattered myths. Imagine a time when your very existence was questioned, your abilities underestimated, and your identity reduced to the limitations imposed by the color of your skin. Now, imagine standing tall against those very odds, breaking barriers, proving doubters wrong, and achieving excellence despite every obstacle. That was the reality for Black soldiers during World War II. Welcome to My Blackness 100, where we celebrate the untold stories of Black excellence, the history we were never taught, and the unsung heroes who paved the way for generations to come. Today, we're diving into the incredible yet often forgotten experiences of Black soldiers during World War II. We'll explore how they fought not only enemies abroad, but also the pervasive racial discrimination that sought to keep them down at home. This story is one of resilience, courage, and triumph. So hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned, because you don't want to miss the journey into the untold struggles and victories of Black soldiers in WWII. The road to war, challenged by prejudices. Before WWII even began, Black men were fighting for a place in the American military. The prevailing belief, rooted in centuries of racial stereotypes, was that Black people were inferior and unfit for combat roles. In 1925, the Army War College published a report that labeled Black individuals as physically and psychologically unfit for battle. The report claimed that Black soldiers lacked the stamina and mental fortitude to endure the harsh realities of war, and therefore they were relegated to non-combat roles such as laborers, cooks, and manual workers. The ramifications of this report were far-reaching, solidifying the racist notion that Black men were unworthy of being placed on the front lines. For many, this was a harsh reminder that their value was often seen as secondary. Yet amidst this injustice, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, stepped in. The NAACP was an unwavering voice challenging the premise of the Army War College report and demanding change. They knew the assertion was not only unfounded, but also rooted in a history of racial exclusion. Their advocacy was pivotal in changing the narrative, challenging the military to see Black soldiers for what they truly were: skilled, capable, and deserving of the opportunity to fight for their country just as anyone else. The Tuskegee Airmen, breaking barriers in the sky. One of the most iconic chapters in this story was the creation of the Tuskegee Airmen, the first Black fighter pilots in the United States Army Air Corps. In response to the racist assertions of Black inadequacy, President Franklin D. Roosevelt authorized the formation of an experimental Black fighter squadron at the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. At the time, the idea of Black pilots was met with fierce opposition. Even within the military, many were skeptical about their abilities, echoing the same tired arguments about Black inferiority. But against all odds, the Tuskegee Airmen proved them wrong. These men went through rigorous training, with many facing the harshest challenges to their skills, resilience, and resolve. They were subjected to more scrutiny than their white counterparts, often being assigned more difficult missions or facing additional hostility from fellow soldiers. Yet despite countless obstacles in their path, they rose above and flew into history as one of the most successful fighter squadrons of the war. The Tuskegee Airmen earned an extraordinary record of combat success, with their planes flying over 15,000 sorties and achieving over 200 enemy aircraft kills. They also proved that the beliefs of those who doubted them were not only wrong, but deeply rooted in ignorance. Their courage in the sky shattered the myth that Black men were incapable of excelling in combat. The struggles on the ground, racism within the ranks. While the Tuskegee Airmen soared through the skies, Black soldiers on the ground faced a different set of challenges. The U.S. Army was still deeply segregated, and racial discrimination was rampant throughout military life.
Black soldiers were often assigned menial, low-status tasks, denied proper equipment, and subjected to verbal and physical abuse from their white peers. In battle, black soldiers faced not only the threat of enemy fire, but also the persistent threat of racial violence within their own ranks. White officers frequently questioned their ability to fight, and the pressure to prove themselves was constant. The sheer emotional toll of having to fight not only for the survival of their country, but for their humanity was immense. Yet the resilience of these men was unmatched. They endured the physical and emotional battles, finding strength in each other and their shared sense of duty. Many went on to serve with distinction, earning recognition for their bravery and skills. Black soldiers like the 92nd Infantry Division, also known as the Buffalo Soldiers, proved that they were as capable and courageous as any soldier on the battlefield. The aftermath, a changing landscape. By the end of the war, the contributions of black soldiers had irrevocably altered the fabric of the military. The Tuskegee Airmen, the 92nd Infantry, and countless other black military units had shown that racial prejudices were not only unfounded, but dangerous to the effectiveness of the armed forces. The war also had a profound effect on black civil rights activism. The bravery and sacrifice of black soldiers during World War II became a rallying point for the broader civil rights movement. Their determination and fight for equality within the military mirrored the fight for equality on American soil. The end of World War II marked a new era in which the inequities of the past could no longer be ignored. The black soldiers who returned home were forever changed. They came back with a newfound sense of pride, but also with a deep sense of frustration. They had fought for a country that didn't fully accept them. They had risked their lives for freedoms they were often denied at home. But rather than retreating in defeat, they came home with the resolve to continue their fight for justice. Overcoming the odds, triumphs, and legacy. Despite the obstacles they faced, black soldiers during World War II created a legacy of strength, pride, and courage. Their stories are filled with moments of excellence, from the skies with the Tuskegee Airmen to the grounds of battle with the Buffalo Soldiers. Their contributions laid the foundation for the civil rights struggles that would follow in the coming decades.
Today, we can look back at these heroes and understand the weight of their sacrifices. They were fighting not just for victory in a global war, but for the victory of a people who had long been marginalized. The black soldiers of WWII proved that despite all the odds, black people could and would excel in any field they chose. And though their experiences were fraught with pain and sacrifice, their achievements have left an indelible mark on American history and black history worldwide. Their stories remind us that no matter the challenges we face, we have the power to overcome. So, the next time you think about the heroes of World War II, remember the black soldiers who fought not just for freedom abroad, but for their right to be seen as equals in their own land. Their story is our story, a story of resilience, determination, and triumph. If this story resonated with you, make sure to hit that like button, share it with others, comment, and subscribe to My Blackness 100 for more untold histories of black excellence and empowerment. Together, we'll continue to honor and uplift the stories that shape our world today. Until next time, stay proud, stay strong, and never forget the strength that lies in our blackness.